Well, we are back with the Metal Roundtable. This is going to be episode 22, our first one of 2019. We have an extremely special guest with us today. We have the great Bruce Corbitt from Rigor Mortis, Warbeast. You all know and love him. You're all wondering how he's doing. He has been gracious enough to let us come into his home and invade his privacy to talk to us today. So forgive us for camera angles. Forgive us for moving stuff around. We're here to take care of this guy, and we're going to let him talk about whatever he wants. But I'm going to bring us in with a funny story. I got this record, which you all know and love. This was my copy. This was my personal copy here. Okay. So I'm in this dude's garage in Plano a couple of months ago, and we're getting ready for a record show, and we're talking about what records we're going to take and CDs that we're getting ready. Shout out to Phil at ZT Records over in Frisco. And he reaches over and pulls off of this stack this record sleeve. And he says, "Hey, do you know what this is?" And I said, "Well, yeah, I know what that is." And what I realized immediately when he handed it to me, no record. It's got a little bit of mildew on it. It's wrinkled. But it's got all 4 signatures, and it's personalized by all 4 of the original members of Rigor Mortis. So he said, "Hey, do you want this?" Well, hell yeah, I want this. What do you want for it? So he gave it to me. And I've had it in my collection for the past couple of months. Well, as it's turned out, it's worked out that Bruce has let us come down and talk to him today, and we appreciate that so much, brother. It's nice to meet you finally after all these years. But Scott Shelby is also here from Warbeast.
Yeah.
Scott's here.
Shelby.
Scott's here. We've got somebody else hiding over there.
Mike Taylor.
Rabid Flesh Eaters.
Scaccianators.
Yeah.
In the house. So we've got a nice little star-studded cast here at Bruce's house. But tell us what you figured out about this when you were looking at this. Tell me what you...
I was just looking at it, and I'm like reading. First thing came to mind is that these autographs are of young men, because I know all these guys personally, and we kind of changed our language over the years, you know. And this one says, "Eat maggots and fuck pigs, you shithole." Hardin Harrison. Well, I know he used to talk like that, but he doesn't quite speak like that now. So I realized that these are old, original autographs. I'm like, wow. So, and I see Bruce Corbitt and Casey Orr, and they're talking about Pete on here, which I know that has to be Pete Lee. Talon actually played in Rigor Mortis at one time, and Guar. So I'm interested in the story. Maybe Bruce can let's let him look and see if he remembers doing this.
Do you have any idea about this? It was signed in '89 because somebody wrote 89 right down there. Casey wrote 89.
It says Pete. It says Pete. What's that say? It has Talon.
Yep.
Weenie Head or
Oh,
something.
Weenie Head.
Talon 89.
Fuck 89. And it says, "Shit your parts." Casey Orr.
Now that sounds like Casey today. He still
Casey still talks like that. Shit your pants, yes.
I think "shit your parts" is funnier.
Well, I figured it was Rigor Mortis. It might have been parts.
Right.
Bodily dismemberment.
Well, I brought that because I thought you might think that was cool to see. So,
and there's your signature.
Yeah.
Right there.
That was a long time ago.
Fucking go, Pete. Tell him up, you crazy fucker. Bruce Corbitt.
That sounds like a current day Bruce Corbitt too. Still.
You crazy motherfucker. Keep jamming your ass off.
Mike Scaccia.
Mike Scaccia, that's a classic thing.
Yep.
Yep.
That's a real gem right there.
Yeah, man, we used to write, you know, some crazy shit when we were signing autographs back in those days. I had a lot of fun in those days.
And I see you've personalized your.
Wow, check that out.
Yeah, you guys drew on the back too. They covered over their faces.
Oh,
I guess our Casey pretty much looks like the werewolf,
yeah.
Wolfman. Mike kind of darkened himself up to look like the
Pinhead or something.
vampire. I don't know what I was really going for there. But I always did wicked shit with my eyes back in those days.
This is a real gem, real find.
I could not believe when he handed me that, and of course the weight of you know Mike being gone and those original signatures. I was blown away when he handed me that.
I want to know the story with Pete now.
Yeah.
What's he doing letting this go?
Right. How did it end
Where's
up
the record?
And how did it wind up in a record store with just a sleeve?
in a garage?
Oh, in a
In
garage.
Plano.
Yeah,
Okay.
in Plano, in this dude's house. You know.
Well, I'm guessing he might have needed some money for something on that night. You know,
Knowing Pete.
back in those days, we didn't take shit for its value like we do now. You know what I mean?
Right.
Unfortunately, I'd love to have every copy I could of this thing now. You know, not that I would make money off of it, but just, of course, with what's happened with Mr. Scaccia, I'd like to have every autograph I could get with the late, great Michael Scaccia. You know.
This is a real gem.
Yeah, it's cool to have.
Super fine, yeah.
I'm extremely proud of it.
Yeah, so now these things are rare, you know, which makes it even cooler. So, wow, nice to see you. Nice to see one of these still out there, and especially total one of a kind, unique one at that, you know.
Yeah. So what kind of memories does that bring back for you of that first album coming out? Take us back and how you were feeling at that time. You guys must have been on Cloud 9, right?
Actually, one thing reminds me of when we used to sign autographs. And how stupid we were. I mean, seriously, we would, you know, get to be on a
Young men acting up, you know.
right.
I still do at this age, but
Yeah.
Right.
at least.
But you never grow up.
No.
Really.
No.
Physically you do, but yeah.
No.
At heart, you're still a young man.
Yeah, so back then they would like try to, you know, get us, hey, we're gonna give y'all like 100 albums for this interview, and all y'all sign it, you know, sign every copy, and that'll add to maybe getting more feature sales for the band, and it's good promotion, of course, except found out later that we didn't think very far into the future about what we should be putting on these autographs, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but now it's brilliant. Read
No,
it.
it's brilliant.
Yeah, it's
Not
perfect.
exactly PG, family friendly.
But Rigor Mortis isn't PG family.
No.
Not at all.
Never were, but you know, that's where that leads to. Great times, but you know, and some of them are hard to swallow when you are going through. And then you'll see one that Mike used to. Now I'm finding out as we're coming across a few more of these that would say Mike Scaccia is dead.
Mm.
Which, you know, I'm not laughing about it.
Right.
It's the irony of it
The
all.
irony, yeah.
Right. So that's tough, man, to read now.
Right.
And shit, we all miss him.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the ones that are hardest for me. Being funny and all that is one thing, but to read it right there. And Mike, wasn't wishing upon wanting death in any way,
Right.
but I sure wish, we didn't have to see that now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, sad. Definitely a talent we lost way ahead of its time.
Mm-hmm.
And I recently came across one for myself, and I had to buy it, kind of, just because I wanted it for my own personal collection, because that was hard to read.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen other ones in similar fashion, and wish I could get them all away from everybody. I know he didn't sign them all that way, so if it was up to me, there wouldn't be any out there.
Mm-hmm. Out of respect for him.
Exactly.
Right. That's understandable.
Yeah, man.
That's your brother.
Yeah.
Well, what do you want to say to everybody out there that's wondering about you? What do you want to say to your metal fans? Because those guys are rabid. They love you so much. And the Facebook posts, I know, have slowed down for you. But what do you want to say to everybody out there that's wondering about you, that's loving on you?
Well, thank you, man. The support has been outrageous, enormous. It's not been a one-sided thing. They've shown me so much love. I'm in shock a lot of times myself, and it's sometimes I was just telling my wife and family last night. It's part of the reason I truly believe that I'm still here, man. For what everybody's done for me to keep me in this fight.
Yeah. Well, again, we appreciate you for letting us come in. Is there anything you guys want to reminisce about before we wrap up? What else do y'all want to talk about?
I'd like to tell a little story that Bruce told me a week ago today, that since we were talking about Mike Scaccia died before his time, and this story I found really intriguing, is that Mike and Dime had met up on tour in the same tour bus the night before the fatal shooting of Daryl. And they had talked, of course, previously, and I know the history, there was not a lot of communication between Mike and Daryl back in the day when we were very all young men. Two different styles, two different crowds, and but this being years later, they met the night before Dime got shot, and they talked about getting together. That obviously the barriers had fallen, and when they back in Dallas together, that them two get together in this jam, and
Wow.
of all things
Mm-hmm.
that could be, if you mix the chemicals
Mm-hmm.
of Daryl and Scaccia jamming together, two of the greatest guitarists to come out of the Metroplex in Texas for sure. It just
Boggles your mind.
boggles the mind of them. If you could just sit in and watch them jamming.
And this comes from a rather accomplished guitar player himself.
Well, I'm just playing muscle guitar, but I have my own style. But these guys were truly greatness, and in my mind and everybody else's. And of course, the next night the shooting happened, and it made me think, wow, what a story. And it made me think, what went through Mike's mind that day when he just talked to Daryl.
Right.
And then the next day, I mean, of course, we were all just blown away by the news, but I had to throw that story in because that is a rare story that never heard before.
Yeah, and they obviously had known each other. They got to meet, of course, but what Scott meant was just that they had came across each other again on their own tour out there. And I'm glad you brought that up because I've never told anybody.
Yeah.
I mean, Mike told me, and
yeah, Mikey told me that story too.
Yeah, so something that we never let really get out there.
Mm-hmm.
But we all thought, wow, what a mind-blowing event, even if no one else would have seen it. Or who knows, what if it would have led into a all-night jam session, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It would have just been a once-in-a-lifetime, or could have been something. Them guys could have, you know, like, God damn it, this is cool as shit.
Let's do it.
Let's get back together and jam some more, you know. We'll never know.
Never know.
I think it's interesting. You had told me that that back when Pantera and Rigor Mortis were coming up together in the DFW scene, that there was a lot of head knocking and friction going on. So it's amazing that at the end of the day we're all family, and they could put those differences aside and try to put something together like that.
Yeah,
which is fantastic.
Yeah,
it's hard to believe that, and that's what I love about the Texas metal scene, is that there's so much history right here in Dallas-Fort Worth, let alone in the state, and in all kinds of music, but especially in metal. But,
absolutely, bro.
yes, vast history. I don't know why Sirius XM, the Bloody Roots, you know, they do genres and things, and you know, black metal here, or the thrash metal scene in San Francisco, or the New York scene, but I'm going to have to email. I mean, what about the Texas scene? I mean, we got so much history.
He does a Texas show as well.
But I'm talking in depth, not what everybody knows. I mean, go dig back to the Gamma side, the Rotting Corpse, the talent, the early Pantera,
Sedition.
the Rigor. I mean, all these
Hellstar,
Solitude Eternus, Hellstar,
Mm-hmm.
all these things that, you know, have great importance and were history worthy.
Yeah.
So they need to dig in deep. Ian Christie, or you hear me out there?
Or Jose, what's his name?
No, Ian Christie does the Bloody Roots. So.
Hispanic.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I heard he recently mentioned me a couple of weeks back. Thank you, Jose. You know, just by throwing a shout out to me about my fight with cancer, and just wishing me, you know, the best. And I'm fighting my ass off, is all I got to say. And you know, everybody knows about the friendships we had with Phil, and everybody's heard about the, you know, sometimes rivalry shit. But the truth is, you know, Mike Scaccia also told me about times when, you know, years later, that, you know, him and Vinny got more and they got bigger into their own careers. About Vinny, you know, picking him up at the airport, and they became closer. Not like they were hanging out all the time, but no one really knows about that. That there was times when, you know, Vinny Paul would get close enough to where he'd be like, "Hey, you crazy fucker! I hear you're gonna be in town. You know, I can pick you up. If, you know, you heard about that, right, Taylor?" So yeah, it wasn't all bad and all good. And surprisingly, there was some good times, man. You know, between the two camps. You know, I'm not sure about. I never got to be real close with all of them, except that anytime I ever did see any of the guys in Pantora, they were always very cool to me.
Mm-hmm.
And then I know, like Mike being from Ministry, obviously, that he got more chances to run into those guys. So, you know, hats off to Rigor Mortis and Pantera and the great achievements both bands accomplished coming out of Texas. Very proud, you know, when you're like driving down the road and there they are, man, coming on Beavis and Butthead or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, SpongeBob.
You know, and we talk about all these legends of the scene, and we've been in different bands, all this, and one thing cool about Warbeast or Texas Metal Alliance was actually bringing all that history into one group, and that's why we call the Texas Metal Alliance. And then when we decided to actually be a band, we called it Warbeast, and that's the cool thing about Warbeast is it's all that history put into one package,
right?
With some new blood's history, and it can, as Warbeast continued on, it just, you know,
right,
got bigger and bigger.
You know, with new bloods coming in from younger generations, so.
You guys have certainly all done a lot to be super proud of. Rigor Mortis, Gamicide, Texas Metal Alliance. Like you said before, people have no idea what Texas metal is really all about. They know Pantera, and that's cool, but man, it goes, like you said,
so deep.
So much deeper than that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Well, Brother Bruce, we're going to get out of your hair. Once again, I want to say on camera, thank you. Thank you for letting us come into your personal space and do this interview with you. It means a lot to me. I know it means a lot to the great Carcass John. Scott, thank you, sir.
Mike Taylor.
Appreciate you, Mike, so much. If there's anything that we can do, man, is there any way that people can help out if they want to? Is there a Facebook page or a GoFundMe or something?
Fundraiser.
There is a fundraiser page going on out there. And I'd appreciate anything you can do, man. I'm obviously in my final days. Fucking sucks. To be honest with you, man. I don't want to go anywhere.
But you can find the Bruce Corbitt fundraiser if you go to the Rigor Mortis Facebook page.
Rigor Mortis Facebook page.
Link to it from there.
Perfect. Link to the Bruce Corbitt Fund to help raise money for medical bills and all those expenses from the Rigor Mortis Facebook page.
Yes.
Okay, I'll get that link and I'll put it on the
I don't even
video.
know if that's really going or not. I'm hoping it is, but
in the world of Google these days, it'll be easy to find that fundraiser.
yeah, and as
We can find that.
you know, words gets out when I do go, I'm sure people will be sharing that link everywhere once it happens. And I want it for to help my wife. And of course, my wife, for sure, as everybody knows, what she's done. And for my daughter and family, just to help them get through this after I'm gone. And you know, to help with my daughter and family.
Well, once again, brother, you hang strong. We're so glad. Thank you so much for letting us come
Thank
out,
you,
man.
brother.
Mike, good to see you over there. The Shell Beast, the great Bruce Corbitt, Carcass John. And I'll be signing us off once again from the Metal Roundtable. We love you guys. Thank you for checking this out with us. And until next time, this is where we all get around and do metal horns. Until next time, metal will prevail.
You know damn well.
Yes.
Perfect, brother.
I was hoping it would say that because I was going to say that if he didn't. Perfect.